To most of us, there is one thing about Ash Ketchum we can relate to. We'd all like to be the very best at something, like no one ever was. That's the drive of competition in its rawest form. It's our primal instinct from survival of the fittest to be more victorious than others. So it only makes sense that video games can fill this competitive itch we have as well. Basically, any game that has a multiplayer functionality will have a competitive crowd for it. Obviously, the games designed to be competitive have these large audiences, like League of Legends, StarCraft, and Call of Duty to name a few. But I honestly believe if a game can be played with multiple people against each other, and there is an audience for it, no matter how obscure the game, a competitive scene can grow. The Pokemon Puzzle League, a Pokemon spin-off puzzle game that looks a lot like Bejeweled, has a competitive audience to it. It's small, don't get me wrong, very small, but it exists nonetheless. Nobody planned it, it was an accident. But sometimes, wonderful accidents happen. Super Smash Bros. Melee is the best example of this. It wasn't designed to be competitive fighting games like Street Fighter, and by no means was it traditional. It's solely meant to be a party game and a worthy sequel to Smash Bros. For the N64. Nintendo didn't expect Melee to take off like it did, but it did. So many new techniques and so much development went into the game that's lasted 13 years and is stronger than ever. Wave dashing, L canceling, dash dancing, multi-shining. Sakurai didn't realize it, but he created a truly competitive masterpiece. And now, as of today, Melee sits with the other great behemoths of competitive fighting games at EVO 2014, the biggest annual fighting game tournament in the world. Melee has the most competitors in a single tournament it's ever had, at over 900 entrants. Although Nintendo shunned and rejected the competitive scene of Melee for years by making Melee's sequel, Brawl, intentionally less competitive, ignoring the Melee community for help with tournaments, and trying to stop Melee from streaming at EVO 2013 just last year, Nintendo has changed its mind in the past year. Just a month or so ago, Nintendo hosted its official Smash Bros. Invitational for their new Smash Bros. Game, not yet released. In this tournament, they invited some of the biggest names from the competitive scene, including Hugs, Ken, Zero, PPMD, and Hungrybox, just to name a few. And even the commentators were fan favorites, including Scar, Prog, and D1. If that's not enough, they used the 4-stock 8 minutes no-item rule set for the Invitational's Grand Finals, a rule set developed entirely from the competitive community, not Nintendo. It just goes to show what a large and passionate audience can do to change things. Oh, but did you think Nintendo stopped there? No. They hear the competitive community now louder than ever. They're now a sponsor for this year's EVO, the polar opposite of their stance on EVO last year. Melee's Grand Finals will be streamed tomorrow on Sunday, July 13th, but in between it and the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 final is a time slot for announcements and awards. Could Nintendo be making some announcement tomorrow in this time pertaining to the competitive Smash Bros. Community? We'll have to see tomorrow. But with 13 years of development, starting with nothing at the grassroots and getting to where it is now, I can only see more success and innovation to the gameplay. Professional players, new players, every player, keep doing what you're doing and let's keep this awesome game and series alive.